Hello, my name is Ankit Chawla, and today I will be talking about polymorphism. So, as we know, polymorphism is one of the most important concepts of the OOPS, the Object Oriented Programming System. So, a question that you might ask is, what is polymorphism exactly? Now, if we take the word polymorphism and we break it down into two different words, the word poly and the word morphism, the word poly meaning many and the word morphism meaning behavior, which basically put together means many behavior, meaning one thing, many behaviors. So if polymorphism is defined, we can say that it is defined as the ability of objects to behave in multiple forms. So let us take an example to understand polymorphism better. So what we're going to do is, let's forget about this for a second. Right here, let's see this class A. Now what this class A has, it has a public function find area, right? And what this function does is it prints the sentence area of a square, right? So normally what we would do is we would create an object for this class A. From this object we would call this function find area, and what that would do is just simply print the area of a square, right? So let's do that and let's see if that works or not. Yeah, there you go. Area of a square, which is exactly what this is. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, let's say for example, you had to calculate the area of various different shapes in your program, right? Let's say you had to calculate the area of a triangle, a circle, and a square. Now, normally, what you would do is you would create multiple functions for that. You would create one function that finds the area of a square, and you would call that a square area. And the second one you would call rectangle area or a circle area. Now, what polymorphism does is it makes this process easier. And how that does it is you don't need to have multiple functions with different names. That makes the program too complex. How about you had the name of one function only, but you could call that function multiple ways, right? Many behaviors. So what we are doing here, we have the same function find. We have another function called find area. It has the same name, but it has been differentiated from the original function by this new parameter int h. And this what this function new find area with the parameter is going to do, it's going to print area of a triangle. Now let's see. So what we have done here is we have created an object for class A, and first we have called the find area function without the parameters, this one, and then I have called the function with the parameter int h5, this one. So now the expected output is, first the area of a square will be printed, and then the sentence area of a triangle. So let's see if this works or not. There you go. You can see area of a square and area of a triangle right there. So this is called method overloading. What we have done is we have created multiple methods with the same name, differentiating between them using one parameter, or we could use multiple parameters to differentiate between them. For example, I could put here an int w2, and then here I could put, with 5 I could put another 5, and see, that's okay, that's completely fine, right? That is how polymorphism helps us a lot. Now coming to the next example, what here I have done is I've tried to explain the second type of polymorphism. What we explained in the first one, that was the compile time polymorphism, which was method overloading. Now coming to the second type of polymorphism, I'll explain it to you with an example. See here. I have created a class parent which has one function print, right? And what that is doing, it's printing the sentence parent class, right? Now what I have also done is created two more subclasses. Subclass 1 that extends parent, right? And subclass 2 that also extends parent. These two classes are essentially the same basically, or both of them having the print function in them, not differentiated by a parameter, right? What this subclass 1 print function is doing, it's printing the word subclass 1, subclass 2 is printing subclass 2. Simply, that's the only difference between them. The name of the functions is the same. The only difference is that this function is in subclass 1 and the other one is in subclass 2. Now what I have done here is, first I'll create an object for subclass 1, right? And then for subclass 2. When I create the object for subclass 1, I'll call the print function which lies in subclass 1. So it will print subclass 1. And when I call it for subclass 2, it will print subclass 2. Now let's see this program in action. Let's see if it works or not. Oops. There you go. Subclass 1 and subclass 2. This type of polymorphism is called runtime polymorphism. So what is happening here is essentially when this first subclass 1's object is created, now this object A has access to this print function, right? And it will call only this print function and that's it. When a new object is created, that will essentially override the original print function. It will override this print function and it will make it this print function. That is how method overriding works, which is the most important concept in runtime polymorphism. Now just to recap, we saw here in this the first example, we saw the concept of method overloading, where there was a single class and the name of the function was the same, but the differentiating factor was the number of parameters or the type of parameters. But in this second example, method overriding, what we saw, the name of the function was same, even they were taking the same number of parameters, right? But the difference between them was this one was in the first class, this one was in the second class. And when the object of the second class is created, essentially the first one is overridden. And that is how polymorphism works. Thank you so much for watching.